Another day, another thought. Welcome all to another edition of the Double Thought Show. Hope you guys are doing great, man. As you guys know, I'm RJ here together with my co-host KR. KR, what's up, man?
Doing splendid.
Splendid, spectacular. Thanks to everyone that's watching this pre-recorded live show, as well as those watching the rebroadcast. I hope KR that wasn't you trying to do a British accent. Hope you
Well,
guys
we're
enjoy.
in the Commonwealth, so we're trying to. Nah,
No,
let me stop right there.
it's like a uncommon wealth. I hope you guys we have a good one for you today, guys. Oh, this is a good one. So sit back and enjoy today's show.
Yes, before you take the drinks, don't drink too much. Anyway, guys, before we start the show, as we always say, if you wouldn't mind hitting that like button down below, it helps us with getting the show out there to more people as we're trying to spread the word.
Yes, the gospel.
Yeah, guys. So also don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Double Thought Show. It helps us. Well, you can follow us and see what is coming up, and we also try to post more exclusive footage on those channels. At least more on Instagram right now. So just follow us. And of course, guys, we are seeing that about 95% of you guys who watch on a weekly, daily basis are subscribed. We would appreciate if you guys subscribe as well. It really helps us to get this channel monetized as we are trying to reach the goal, RJ.
Yes, we're trying to reach 1,000 subs by the end of June of this year, which is, guys, it's the next month. So a lot of you guys are just watching, but please subscribe. It really helps us.
If all the people who are currently rewatching our clips subscribe, we would have been monetized already. Hey,
Already, guys. Yeah.
life is
Yeah.
really funny sometimes. But
Yes,
guys,
yes, yes.
please press on that subscribe button. Don't forget to press on the notification button as well. We post daily clips. We have multiple live shows a week, and we also right now diving a bit into that the shorts game. We have
Yes,
some funny
yes.
clips.
Yes, we have some clips. If you haven't checked it out yet, go check it out, guys. It is definitely a game changer. It changes it, or at least it changes, right? So it takes more to you wouldn't believe it, perhaps, but it take as much time, if not even more time, to make a great short than it does a clip. But we see some positive
Feedback.
feedback, positive reactions. Of course, it's a different kind of public because our core public are those watching the shows, our shows as well as the clips. But we definitely see that a lot of people are viewing, and we've even gotten some subscribers out of it. So if you haven't done so, go check it out, guys. All the more
Yep.
reasons to subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already.
Yes, and I want to welcome all the new double thinkers who've subscribed the last week. The short people. I mean, just check out the live show. I hope you enjoy it and also share
Did,
it.
did you say short people?
Well, maybe that about
we're
the
gonna
new
take of a we're gonna think of a
oh,
new
it's gonna
name
be
for
a
you guys.
short.
Oh
It's
man,
gonna
we
be a short. Oh my
there
god.
goes our subs.
The short and tall subscribers and all other subscribers in the spectrum between tall and short and all others. Anyway, guys, damn, I guess that's gonna be a short again.
That's definitely gonna be a short.
Oh man. Anyway, well, I have a lot of these bloopers, so guys, bear with me. Anyway, if this is your first time watching, welcome. Please press as well on the subscribe button. And as we always say at the Double Touch Show, don't forget to share our videos with friends, family, your manager. Well, Some people have shared them with the lawyers and they have created settlements. Don't forget to share it with your enemies because you want to dance la cucaracha with them instead of hitting them with a chair. Do you have a disclaimer, OJ?
Yes, yes. Guys, before we proceed, the usual disclaimer. Remember the views, opinions, and thoughts shared here on the channel, specifically those shared on in the videos, documents, and articles we discussed do not necessarily reflect the thoughts and opinions of Double Touch Show KR nor myself. All topics we discuss for entertainment purposes only. Remember that viewer discretion is advised and all commentary is alleged. Because here on the Double Touch Show, we don't know anything. Furthermore, if you need assistance in your life in any particular area, be it life, financial, legal, and so on, we strongly urge you to seek the assistance of the professionals that can help you in those fields, in those respective fields. For anything else pertaining to entertainment, we welcome you to the Double Thought Show. Double Thought Show.
Thanks for saving us. Anyway, guys, I think it's time. It's time to say
Bora! Hora do show!
it's showtime. And in today's show, we are focusing on a series we've had. And it seems like the series is reaching its end. It was fun, but it was a great series, to be honest. It was fun making it, diving deeper into the cases. Want to say something?
It was fun. It was a bit sad sometimes as well.
Yeah, well, that's part of the sad, the fun, right? You know, sometimes you see people go out sad.
Yeah.
Some people were going out sad during this case. Of course, guys, as you've already seen in the thumbnails, we are talking about Pat McAfee because he has revealed that Brett has withdrawn his defamation lawsuit against him. I have to say, quite unexpected at this point. It was going a certain route, and suddenly this move was created. But I mean, we're gonna dive deeper into it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was definitely unexpected, specifically because it seemed, and we discussed this in the show of, I think it was 2 weeks ago, that Brett was doubling down on his statement because since the beginning, both Karen and myself were of the opinion that, yeah, it didn't really make sense what Brett Favre was doing, trying to, or at least initiating a case against, amongst other, Pat McAfee, while for something he said regarding a case in Mississippi, or the case in Mississippi, the Mississippi welfare lawsuit that Brett Favre is involved in, and claiming that because he claimed that Brett Favre defamed him, so he was guilty of defamation.
You mean Pat McAfee?
Pat McAfee, apologies, that Pat McAfee was guilty of defamation. And Pat responded. I think we discussed it maybe a month ago, the show, like a couple of shows back. To our surprise, Brett Favre doubled down in a subsequent amendment to his complaint. So both Karen and myself were like, no, this guy is seriously, but perhaps, or at least that this guy was seriously committed to, and I quote or paraphrase his lawyer, make Pat McAfee go bankrupt. And to our surprise, 2 weeks later, we get the news that he has withdrawn the case against Pat McAfee. So yeah, we're gonna discuss it, but it's and as you said, KR, it was a pretty, well, assuming that this is the last show regarding this topic, or at least this specific case, because there are still 2 other cases pending, which is the Pat McAfee versus Shannon Sharpe case and the Pat McAfee versus Chet White case. But it seems as though, as you said, we've reached the end of the Or did I say Pat McAfee?
So I came
the
up with
Brett Favre versus Shannon Sharpe, and the Brett Favre versus Chet Wife, White, not Chet's wife, versus Chet White. But it seems as though, with regards to the third case, which is the Brett Favre versus Pat McAfee, we have reached, or at least it seems as though we have reached a conclusion. But we'll discuss it furthermore. KR, back to you.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, I'm trying to I don't know if we will be hit with a copyright strike if we show the actual clip of the lawyer saying we're gonna bankrupt him, well, because that aged pretty badly, like
Because it depends on which channel was it broadcasted on.
Whitlock, Fearless.
Yeah.
Well, the way you're looking at it's not looking good. So
I don't
let's
know.
talk about it. Let's talk about it. Anyway, guys. So I mean it's time to start the show. Yes, yes. New sounds. We were talking about, well, I still don't have, if the ones who've seen the shorts, I still don't have, I didn't do it. Only have I seen them do it. But I mean, you gotta refresh the deck. Anyway, guys. So today, in today's show, we're gonna talk about the Pat McAfee revealing that Brett Favre has withdrawn the defamation case over his claim, in which he was saying that, well, Brett was involved in knowingly. Anyway, let's take a look at the clip in which Pat shares the news with his own audience.
Hello, beautiful people. I'm coming to you live from my humble abode. Welcome to my casa. As many of you know, Brett Favre sued me over statements that I made about him on this program. As I confirmed in my court papers, and I repeat here, my statements expressed in comedic style were based solely on public information and allegations. As I previously stated, I respect the hell out of Brett Favre, the football player, and his Hall of Fame career on the field, and I have no personal knowledge about any case involving Brett in Mississippi. I am pleased to report that based solely on me again clarifying these points now, with no settlement paid, Brett is withdrawing his suit against me. I would much rather talk about sports than about lawsuits, so I'm glad we have all of this behind us. We now move on.
sports! Let's go! Sports!
Sports are what we know best. Sports are what we love the most. And as I go and hang out with my beautiful baby mama and my beautiful baby who turned 1 week old today, the boys will be covering all the sports in the sports world for the next 3 hours. I appreciate and love you all. Foxy, hit the music.
Gotta love that show, man.
I love this show, man. I've been watching it for a very long time, so it's always good to see the guys as well having fun as usual. But it wasn't fun for a couple of months.
No, it definitely was. But before we proceed with the rest, just two, or at least two things that
we have noticed, maybe.
yeah, two things that I have, two things that I've noticed, and there's a third one too.
Do I have to share the picture, the video again?
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Let me share. Yes.
Okay.
Go
So
back.
basically, the first, and you and I were talking about it because so there's two that I have, but we talked about a third one. So I suggest we start with the third one, which would be the first one now. which is something you noticed. If
Yes.
you if
Continue,
you
continue.
if you play the video, maybe you can play it on mute
Hello.
and
I
just
can
look
play
at
on mute.
his. You just look at his facial expression, especially focus on the eyes. It seems as though he's reading from a teleprompter of some sorts, which is which is not usual for
For Pat,
Pat.
who's usually off the cuff with his.
Yeah. So let's
I'll pause it again.
yeah. Whoops.
Oh, why does it pause? Yes.
Yes. So yeah. So that's definitely That's definitely is not something we are accustomed to from Pat McAfee. But it's, of course, he would read it because it is a statement probably ran or discussed by his lawyers and Brett Favre's lawyers. So of course, or
You mean the one who put battery on someone's back?
well, let's see if he's still Brett Favre's lawyer. I mean,
That's a good one, by the way.
yeah. We need to check. I mean, I don't
We have to
think he's not, but I wouldn't be.
Oh,
I don't think. I think he still is Brett Favre's lawyer, but I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't. So that's the first thing that popped up, and you made that remark right before the show, KR, because it was obvious to you as well that he was reading.
Yeah. But I mean, it seems a bit scripted. I mean, I didn't. So I've only watched this 2 times before this show, and 2 times before the show, and the second time I was like, the first time I was watching it willy, and I wasn't really focusing on the eyes and the facial expressions, etc. But then the second one was like, wait a second, it seems like a bit scripted to me.
Yeah. So that was the first. So that was the first thing. But of course, as I mentioned, it would be scripted because that's probably
Agreed upon.
agreed upon. Yeah.
It's a settlement. You settle the case. You say this.
Yeah.
We drop it.
Yeah. The second thing that it's a clown show.
Anyway, those were not my words, right? Don't forget it. Someone said it was a clown show. Well, okay, continue on.
Yeah. So that was the first one. The second one, which is a bit on the so my second and third remarks are more clown show remarks than serious remarks. So, but let's just get them out of the way. The first one is Pat McAfee called his wife baby mama, and
where are you going? Oh man. Okay, continue on.
I always say that I think baby mama is a
term used for.
No, it's a term. I think it's a very beautiful term, right? Because the mother of your children. But some people might find it offensive. So, guys, please let us know in the comments below if you think maybe we can. If you think that baby mama is a better way to describe a wife, whether it should be wife,
children.
No, baby mom is what he said. So we're gonna stick with that. So let us know. Maybe we'll probably put a poll on our channel as well. So please vote. Let us know what you think. So that's the second one. The third thing that came to mind. The third thing that I want to discuss. Go check. So share the video again. And share it right before his people yell sports. Yes, okay. And before you play it, I want you to, before you play it, I want you to look at AJ. He's in the
I
black.
know who AJ is, man. You what? He's in the. Oh, you're describing to the viewers. Okay, sorry. I'm bad. My bad. My bad.
It
My
is. It
bad.
is your bad. It is your bad. Okay, guys. For those of you who don't know, AJ is sitting on the bottom right, in all black.
All right, I'm seeing it. All right.
Okay, let's.
Why is he doing that? Okay. Let's
Okay,
share the video.
let's share the
Bottom
video.
right in black.
Let's share the video and
Oh, wait a second. You want the audio as well?
yeah. Now we play with audio.
Sports! Sports! Let's go! Sports!
Okay. Was I the only one that was waiting for him to break the desk with a bat? Because that would have been so awesome. But okay, those are just my two remarks on a less serious note.
Yeah.
But
To chime in your baby mama remark, I think apparently, well, obviously, baby mama means different things to different people. Baby mama might change the definition of baby mama might change from hood to hood.
from hood to
Apparently, I don't
neighborhood,
know. Uh-uh?
it might change from hood to neighborhood.
Yeah. Apparently. Oh man. Hey, shout out to Pat. Great win for him at the end.
Yeah,
A great
yeah.
win for him at the end. Because I mean, guys, if you don't know, let me go to the playlist, guys. We've had a playlist on this in which we have discussed this. We started back in February, and that was kind of a hit, quite of a hit of a show. I mean, there were like two cases simultaneously that popped out during that was the Super Bowl.
Michael Irving show and the Pat McAfee show. Yeah,
Yeah. The Michael Irvin. Well, that's a show as well. Yeah,
that's a show. A show on itself. Yeah, it's a different show. Yeah,
that's a as well. Anyway,
that's a different show. It's not a clown show. It's a different show. It's not a clown show. It's a feces show.
yo. Anyway, guys. So we've had well, we've been reporting on this and also analyzing the legal documents, the legal motions, and also try to break down what is happening in this case. We've talked about, is Brett Loyce bluffing as he's suing, because he was talking greasy. Who knows if he's still the lawyer? I mean, we'll have time, because I think maybe next week we'll see all the settlements as well. We can research in the meantime if he's the same lawyer.
Yeah.
And then we can discuss it. It seems like, I mean, if you look at this, it seems like you can almost say a 180 into the route they were taking, right?
Definitely. But
And I would expect then, if maybe that this could also mean that the other two cases will be settled with a statement and get rid. I mean,
so if the other two cases are settled, then yes. But what I think, however, is that first the Pat McAfee one, right?
Yeah.
First the Pat McAfee, the remark you made. Of course, when you're when you're litigating, you're in a court case, there's a lawsuit, you have steps, you have like a procedure. And a procedure is bound by time, it's bound by deadlines, it's bound by different actions that you can take, right? Motions and maybe you have a hearing, etc., etc. So you're bound to that. But aside from that, you can always negotiate. And oftentimes you use the litigation as leverage, or your position in the court case as leverage to negotiate a settlement. So it's surprising for us because we didn't know. We assumed that they were negotiating, but of course, you only hear the updates of the court cases of the court procedure because that's just public information.
Yeah.
But you don't hear the developments in the negotiations between the different parties. Now, what is good for it is definitely great for Pat McAfee, as you mentioned, that they solved that the case has been settled. Definitely a good sign for him, as we have already discussed in the show as well. Pat McAfee is a great person, great personality. You can also see in his shows that he's making fun, like they're having fun. But it's also good for Brett Favre because Brett Favre has managed to, I mean, he wasn't supposed to start a case in the first place, in our opinion. But let's say the upside for Brett Favre is that it came out of Pat McAfee's mouth that he has no knowledge that Brett Favre has been involved in illegal activities in Mississippi, that he used solely the information provided by media outlets when he discussed the topic. Now, one might say that was already obvious.
You can say that from the start. Anyway, I don't know.
One might say that it was. One might say that it was already obvious.
That sound, by the way, but
yeah, one might say that it was already obvious from the get-go. But hey, happy for Pat, happy for Brett,
and happy for the lawyer who was getting all those payments.
Yeah,
Someone has to. Someone has to eat. You know, someone has to feed their baby mama and their kids.
yeah.
Someone gotta come up real quick. Well, it's not the outcome he had hoped for, but I guess in his own words, guys, we're talking about his own words. We're gonna bankrupt. We are going to bankrupt Pat McAfee. Those were his words. Go watch. Fearless from Jason Whitlock. It's episode 379.
Yeah.
He had an interview with Brett's lawyer, and the lawyer was talking crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, is this his lawyer?
But there's an also thing that was interesting to. I mean, it's interesting to. Another thing that's interesting that Pat McAfee mentioned in his statement was the word comedic. So why is that important? Because if it's obvious that you're making jokes, yes, referring to the well, let's use the.
It was obvious he was making jokes from the start, but okay, continue. RJ.
No, but the reason why he used the word comedic was because it's important, because if you're making comedy, let's say you have the freedom of speech, but aside from that, you also have more leeway, right? So if you're making comedy and it's an obvious joke, and it's obvious that people will see it as a joke or regard it as a joke, then you have more leeway. You can get away with more. And that's why it's important that he said it was comedic. So that's also something that stood out.
I guess Shannon will say it was all theater then. In his case,
we'll get to that. We'll discuss that in a bit. We'll discuss that yeah.
It's going to be. So anyway, guys. So we are looking at it right now. I mean, like we said, let me go back to the playlist. We broke down. Actually, we broke down the text messages. Those were really a bit iffy.
So you're referring to the text messages between
Brett
Favre and
Brett and Nancy New.
Yeah.
And in the Mississippi case, I mean, those were revealed, and it wasn't looking that good. And don't forget, of course, if this would have proceeded, maybe this would have exposed Brett as well a bit more, because then he would have to do a deposition maybe.
If what had happened,
If they would have proceeded with this case, this defamation case, they would have a deposition, right? And in that deposition, they can ask about
the
what
information,
effect,
so
I mean.
the relevant, yeah. So I don't, might be. I don't know if that would have been the next step.
But
But
sometimes it's better to end it while you still can,
yeah,
When it's
so yeah,
too much down the road, you can still make a U-turn.
yeah, yeah. So I think, well, if he hadn't stepped in the car in the first place, he wouldn't have.
I remember we did a show about that, right?
Yeah, yeah, we did.
Will Brett's, what did he say? We had will Brett's no quit attitude lead to an ugly crash? Anyway, continue, RJ.
Yeah. So no, but I think what's interesting to see, I mean, what's interesting to see now is what will happen in the other two cases that Brett Favre filed against, respectively, Shannon Sharpe and Shad Wife, the state auditor of Mississippi, because that might give us an indication as to what would have happened or could have happened if Pat McAfee and Brett Favre did not enter into a deal with each other to settle the dispute. So we'll definitely see what will happen with regards to that. We'll discuss it in a bit more, or I don't know if you want to do it now, but
You can do it now.
yeah. So in the case, I think the difference between Pat McAfee and
Shannon.
Shad Wife and Shannon Wife, wife. What's
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 with you and
what's
the
with
wife thing?
what's with the wife?
You started off with the baby mama. You're still talking about wives, man. Come on. It's Chet White. White.
If Shad
And
White,
then Sharp. Don't get the two mixed up. It's Shannon Sharp, as in sharpening
your tools.
sharpening your tool. Yes. Pause. Don't sharpen too as well. Anyway,
Different show. No, but the
it's a different show, yes. But continue.
the difference is that we use the word comedic, and of course, in Pat McAfee's case, it was obvious that he was making jokes because that's the nature of his show. Now, in the case of Shad White, in his situation, Shad White had a different role, and his role was as a state auditor, so as a public official, which means that his words might have more weight, because if a public official says that someone has stolen money or misappropriated money, then that's a source that you can use as a, I mean, news outlets can use as a source in their respective articles, right? So in Shad White's case, it's like the opposite of Pat McAfee. I have to keep thinking of the names, right? But it's different than Pat McAfee's case, because in Pat McAfee's case, first of all, Pat McAfee is a reporter reporting on news that was publicized, while Shad White was probably at the essence, at the core of the discovery and all those things. So that's one difference. The second difference is that Pat McAfee was obviously making jokes and Shad White was not. Now, Shad White did go on Twitter and made some crazy remarks,
Twitter fingers.
but their position is different, right? So I think in Shad White's case, it might not transition so well. Now, Shannon Sharpe is a bit interesting because I think he's right there in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
On the one hand, he is a reporter reporting on the news that was already made public. As we said in the previous show, he wasn't the one that broke the news. The news was already publicized. However, the way he formulated his remark was a bit different.
A bit. Yeah. Are you sure it's a bit? No.
It was just it was a bit different, right? It was in his case, you could clearly see that he was not making a joke, that he really believed that Pat McAfee, or at least Brett Favre, was guilty. And he also made some remarks saying that he's disappointed because this is the first time. And Shannon Sharpe actually said stole. He didn't say misappropriated. I don't recall if he's even said alleged. But of course, you need to take. So what Brett Favre is saying, as we previously mentioned, that because we can argue that the clip, that's part of that statement he made was just part of a whole show, a bigger show, and you would need to go look at the context to see what exactly to see the context in which Shannon Sharpe made his remarks, because perhaps the context can save him. Probably at the end of at the beginning of the show, they said, "Breaking news, guys! Brett Favre is being accused of whatever, fill in blank," and you can use that as an argument. But what Brett Favre is claiming is that, hey, even if that is true, that clip, that segment was clipped into a small 30-second, maybe 60-second clip containing just solely that part, that remark. And I'm not sure right now if it was also published on Shannon Sharpe's page, IG page, or any social media page, but it was a clip that went viral and got millions and millions of views and a lot of reactions as well. So I say that to say that it's interesting it's because the cases aren't similar, perhaps it will be more difficult for them to enter into a settlement agreement. Nonetheless, I do see an advantage. I do see an important reason why Brett Favre should seriously consider settling at least with Shannon Sharpe, and that's simply because Shannon Sharpe is another. It represents another case, which means you're fighting a case. You're fighting against a media personality here, next to two other cases. Now, the case against Chet White, you can say, is closely related, as I already said, but Shannon Sharpe wasn't. So I still think the chances that he will beat Shannon Sharpe in a court case is not that big. It would be more advantageous for him to try to enter into a settlement agreement, eliminating one case, because he had 4 cases ongoing. With Pat's case out the way, he currently has 3. I think it would be best to remove the Shannon Sharpe case as well. He doesn't stand a good chance. I mean, he might still win, but is it worth the money and the time to invest resources into that case? I don't think so. I think it would be best to try to enter into a similar deal and then focus I mean, he definitely needs to focus on the Mississippi case because he can't back out of that one. He tried to with his motion to dismiss, the second motion to dismiss, which was denied. But I mean, Shad White, I can understand why he would. I can understand why he would say no. You know what? I'm definitely not going to take away this claim, this court case. One last thing that might stand in the way of Shannon Sharpe and Pat McAfee and Brett Favre entering into a settlement agreement. For Pat, it was easier to. Pat didn't need to take back his words. He just had to.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing, right? Yeah.
He just had to.
You have to repeat what he already said in February.
Yeah, he just.
I mean, guys, go watch our show, the first show in the playlist. We played the video where he states we said allegedly, and it was all for jokes. So we're now a couple of months later. He has to say the same thing he said during at the first moment when he was served.
Yeah, but and so Pat McAfee didn't have to take back his words, but Shannon Sharpe said stole, and
Not only that,
Brett
it was very passionate.
yeah, with passion, with a lot of passion. So of course it can. I mean, it's imaginable. It's
Can you
probably.
can
That-
he humble himself? Is that the words you're trying to search for?
No, I mean, yeah, but I mean to say that Brett Favre will probably want him to take back his words.
Mhm. But someone has to humble themselves in order
And
to.
Shannon Sharpe we know what type of person he is. He's a very, or at least he's a very competitive person, passionate person. And I still think that it's still difficult for him for Brett Favre to win, in my opinion. But I mean, a judge might rule differently. But that's probably the part where they would need to that they would need to figure out if they want to reach a settlement. Because Shannon Sharpe, I believe, also wants to reach the settlement.
Of course. I mean, you're
But
spending money trying to defend yourself. The big question we have here is, will someone, or in this case, Shannon, humble himself and sit during an undisputed episode and read what Pat just read
I think you
in
would.
front of everyone?
No, I think you would. Yeah.
I mean, you should. I mean,
I think you would. Yeah.
just put the ego aside and say, I could have been wrong.
I think you would, and he is, and I can also imagine how he would say it. It
Oh,
would be a
obviously,
clip. It would be a clip.
It will be a clip we cannot show because
Yeah, it will be a clip.
Undisputed will try to take down the whole life.
Yeah.
But I mean, we'll see, man. I think at the end of the day, one thing that to me, it seemed the way they were, well, one of the things that, and I said this before in previous show, it seemed like they also used these lawsuits, all three of them, to stop people for talking reckless, basically to scare off people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it, after these Shannon, Shad, and Pat were served, you barely saw any articles about Brett.
Yeah.
And people were like, "Nah, let me think twice before I write anything."
Yeah. Well, that's because the court procedures have various functions. So the one function is what you're actually trying to claim, right? Maybe you're initiating a court procedure to get something, to actually get something, or maybe you're doing it to enter into a settlement, because that's also a catalyst. It can function as a catalyst for entering into a settlement. If you know that there's an ongoing court case and you keep paying your lawyers, you're more inclined to say, okay, let's settle the matter as soon as possible, than if you are when there's no court case and you're just talking, because there's no need to prioritize the matter. But as you said, a third reason might be indeed to give an example as to what can happen if you talk reckless.
What they always say, right? If you punch the main bully, make sure you knock him out, and then other people will scatter. The roaches will scatter.
Yeah.
Not
Yes.
saying that Pat or Shannon or Shad are bullies. It's a metaphorical way of saying things, guys.
Nor roaches.
No, nor that. Wait a second. Nor that journalists all over the globe are roaches, because that's what I was implying. But that's not, guys. It's just a matter of saying. Don't try. Don't sue me. Don't sue me.
Hey, you're
Anyway.
living, guys, as you guys can see, he's living in his mama's basement. He has all his assets
have
under.
nothing. You sue. You
Hey,
sue me.
they talked about they
You
were
gotta
praising the soccer player. They didn't know you had the game on lock from the get-go. Everything on your mouth. You did it even better. You made sure that you made sure to avoid assets in the first place. Only liabilities.
What? I'm total liability. So, guys, if you sue me, you're gonna get probably a hoodie, this hoodie, or one of the other hoodies of my back. And then I don't want to do this to our viewers. I don't want to sit here without any shirt on. You know, guys, don't want to do that. Guys, if I get sued, blame them. Don't blame me for sitting here without a shirt.
Yeah.
Anything on my back. Anyway, guys. Hey, it's crazy. A very unexpected turn.
Yeah.
Very unexpected turn. But at the end, I think we were going the right path. I mean, the way we were breaking down this case, it clearly would seem it was going nowhere. And maybe, I mean, like we said earlier in the show, we have to look at whether he has changed lawyers, but maybe the new lawyer said to him, like, dude, I don't know what your main goal is. I mean, you've made your point. No one is talking reckless anymore. Maybe people will start making comedic jokes now, but it is so you open the door for something else now. Everyone's gonna say, guys, this is a comedy skit. You open the door for new things, but let's see what happens. But he stopped people, and his new lawyers might have said to him, dude, or his old lawyer, maybe he came to his senses, like, dude, this was just a come up for my allegedly.
just to get my subscribers up, man. I'm trying to leave this lawyer game.
Man, I'm trying to. I had to go to Jason, man. I had new subs, man. I'm trying to get my content out there.
Yeah,
Anyway, guys, this is all comedic, by the way. Just a comedic skit.
Yeah.
It's entertainment, guys. We're not the source of any of these statements. These are based upon the videos we saw on Jason Whitlock.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh,
All
man.
right, guys. With that being said, you have one more thing.
No, I thought you were going to say something about the subscribers, but people subscribing, etc.
Yeah. So that was what I'm about to say.
Yeah, so I don't know. I didn't have anything.
Okay. Yeah, okay, but
I told you. I mean,
this is the second time, man. This is the second time
what?
in today's show.
What?
You broke the flow. When I wanted to talk about AJ, you did the same thing, man.
I
Of
didn't
course I
break the
know,
show.
AJ.
I didn't break. I just look at you like,
No, I didn't say you broke the show. It's like I said you broke my flow, is what I said.
oh, you broke your flow then. Okay,
The third time. You can't even let me rant. Just let me rant about. Okay.
okay, rant. Go.
I don't want to do it anymore. I sound like a woman. Okay. Um, guys,
Hey.
uh, we have uh we have a goal, as you guys know. We're trying to reach 1,000 subs by the end of June of this year, which is in 6 weeks, 7 weeks actually. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to our channel. A lot of you guys are watching our videos over and over again, but for some reason aren't subscribing. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot. Can you hear? Do you hear me? Do you hear an echo, or is it just me?
I don't
No,
hear
I
it, but maybe it's your
Okay.
sound. Continue.
No, this is okay. No, I
I'm
don't hear it
moving my
anymore.
phone also.
I don't hear it anymore, but it's the second time. But maybe it's just me. I think it's just me. But yeah, guys, it's
Can you hear it now?
important. No, I can hear it now. But yeah, guys, as mentioned, it's really important that you subscribe to this channel. We put a lot of work into it. We always say go check out the channel. We let our work do the talking. We provide a lot of content, upgrading bit by bit. We've even added shorts to the equation, also on our IG reels to the equation. We're putting in a lot of time and effort into this project, and where it's both KR, despite the fact that both KR and myself are very busy people with our own daily responsibilities. But we do this for you. We enjoy the feedback you are giving as well. But to us, the best way to show us appreciation would be to subscribe to the channel. So if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to our channel so you can stay locked in to our Double Thought Show podcasts, shows, clips, shorts, and of course, shenanigans. Back to you, KR.
Yes. So, guys, don't forget also to press on that notification bell, just in case you want to keep up to date to the latest cases we discuss or the latest breakdowns we have in our live shows. Anyway, RJ, we have been talking, of course, about this case. At the end, before we go to the end, if you look at this, was this also the best move Brad could have made? Because, of course, when you are dealing with the Mississippi case, where they are basically trying to find, and I think we talked about it as well, whether the cases are dependent upon each other. Let's say you have on the Mississippi case, they are looking for evidence to prove that maybe Brett was involved directly with, or at least is partially to blame for the money he has received through Nancy New. On top of that, you would get also the lawyers of Pat McAfee looking for evidence showing that he knew about it.
Yeah.
In that case, would those people collaborate and try to find dig? Even you have more man hours, more people who can dig. Was
I
this
mean,
the best move if you look at maybe
yeah.
the dependency?
Yeah,
on those?
I touched on this a while back, but briefly. But maybe it's good to elaborate, as you said. The fact that we, or at least no, we talked in a previous show about Brad not being smart by putting himself in a situation where he would need to fight multiple wars at the same time. It was basically fighting four wars, he had four court cases. The main case, which is the Mississippi welfare lawsuit case in Mississippi, in which he is one of, I believe, 47 defendants that are currently being,
Yeah, a full football team.
of 47 that are being accused of being involved in mismanagement or misappropriation of funds that was
Stealing,
s-
allegedly.
allegedly
Well,
stealing.
some of them were convicted or a plea deal. So
Yeah. So, but with regards to funds that belong to the, or at least that was destined to go to, uh, let's say, the poor people, people who needed it. Instead, it was sent to people with money already for their pet project. So that's the main case. I think Brad should focus more on that case. That would have that should have been his strategy from the get go. Instead, he chose to file 3 cases on the side, and that meant, of course, as you mentioned, KR, more legal fees. The legal team would be spread thinner. And even if that wasn't the case, because you can imagine that if his lawyers are from a bigger law firm, they probably have enough lawyers to put on the case and enough paralegals and support teams. I'm hearing it again, but not anymore. Support teams.
definitely on your side because I was on mute the whole time.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I'll need to check. Um, the so even if that is the case, no, I was saying that he was involved in 3 cases. So, oh yeah. So even if it is the case that the law firm is big enough that that it could put more people on the different cases, that would mean higher lawyer fees, because oftentimes bigger companies have higher overhead costs and thus more, or at least higher legal fees. So that would mean not only the lawyers on themselves would are so the lawyers are by themselves already probably more expensive than, let's say, the other lawyers that work in smaller firms. But additionally, that would basically mean of a quadrupling of the legal fees, because you would have maybe 4 teams. So it's either thinning out the current legal team or quadrupling, doubling, tripling, quadrupling the current legal fees. So it's definitely good for Brad from a financial point of view that he dropped this case. From a strategic as well, because time is also a valuable resource, and it's good that this one is out of the way. I would also suggest him to get the Shannon Sharpe case out of the equation, to take the Shannon Sharpe case out of the equation by entering into a settlement with him as well. So that way he would have more time to focus on saving his behind. Back to you, KR.
That's a very. Still think there's gonna be a very. I think you said something there that I definitely agree. It's gonna be very interesting because it really seemed like you said before. It was a very passionate. It was a very passionate statement by Shannon, in which it's not gonna say it seemed personal, but it seems kind of on the edge. Maybe it also has to do with him being in the Hall of Fame, the NFL Hall of Fame, both being in a NFL Hall of Fame and putting an NFL Hall of Fame jacket in disgrace. Maybe I don't know. Maybe that's how we looked at it. I don't know, but it seemed kind of it was very personal the way he was talking. Let's see how that's gonna end. I mean, before we go to that part, um, would you say that by settling as well to basically close this part off, by settling, has Brett avoided a possible L.
Of course. But that's always the case with settling because you often settle when you don't know what what the outcome will be, or
Mm,
because so it's either that uh, or because of the financial, because it's financially not desirable to continue with court cases. So you'd rather take, let's say, I think he already took an L, but it's a smaller L than
how
he would
so?
have.
How so?
I mean, less court case, less, uh, less, less, less
No,
time.
he took an L already.
He shouldn't have started the case
Mm.
in the first place. The L he took was unnecessary
Would
uh,
have been a better
legal
idea if
fees.
he just had called called back when he was making the jokes. If he would have called Pat and said, Pat, I want to join your show and explain this to the core, so you guys understand what I'm dealing with, and you would stop making jokes about it because I'm not involved with this. Would have then that been a better move in hindsight?
No, I
Hindsight is
think the
2020.
best move would have been just to let it go. I mean,
Mm.
don't contact. No, just let it go because it doesn't look uh, things aren't looking good for him in Mississippi. So they should have just let it go in the first place. That's what he should have done.
Okay, okay. Well, I guess we'll see how it is gonna go with Shannon Sharpe and Shannon Sharpe and Shad White, not Shad Wives. Anyway, um,
I said wife. You made him a polygamist.
well, gotta spread the love, gotta spread the love. Anyway, at the end, I could say,
Have I done a good job? Have I done a good job?
well, not I, we Double Thought Show. I think it was a great breakdown. Of course, we will follow what will happen in the other two cases, guys. So stay tuned. At this part, I think we can close Pat's case.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we should get like an extra sound like doom doom. Case
Mm,
closed.
yeah, we should. We
Or
should.
maybe we should buy a gavel. You should buy a gavel and
I should buy a gaff. The only thing is, we need to figure out maybe if there's like an electric way to,
electrocute
not an electric, a digital
electrocute
way.
the accuser.
No, a digital way, so we can, let's say that where you would do the motion, but
Oh,
you would hit
yeah.
a pad, for example, because I don't think
Do it
whoa,
in the camera, like
yeah, and that with a sound, or maybe like, but yeah, oh, that's a good one. I'm gonna I'm gonna look for that. I just need to make sure that I hit the right one. Can't be doing this, man.
anyway, guys, thank you for watching the show. RJ, do you have a recap for us?
Yes, yes. In today's show, we talked about what seems to be the final episode of the Brett Favre versus of the okay, of the clown show.
According to
Of the alleged clown show.
according to Pat himself, look up the tweet, look the previous show. He called it a clown show. Sorry, guy. Sorry, I'm breaking up your flow again, but I had to do it.
Yeah, so between the Pat McAfee versus Brett Favre, as you guys know, Brett Favre started the case because he believed that Pat McAfee was guilty of defamation. We've covered this topic for months now, I believe 4 months, 5 months, something to that extent. Go check out our playlist, guys. We have both full shows as well as clips with highlights of those shows. So we encourage you to check out the playlist and that playlist and see what we covered, because it was definitely a very interesting case. We learned a lot from the case. Um, Almost as popular as the Michael Irving
Yeah, they go
case actually
head to
versus
head, and they
Mario.
started at the same time.
Yeah, so go check that out as well, guys. But yeah, what happened in the past week was that Brett Favre and Pat McAfee appear to have entered into a settlement deal, despite the fact that 2 weeks ago, Brett Favre was doubling down in the lawsuit by filing an amendment to his complaint. However, the deal basically entailed that Pat McAfee would specify that his the remarks he made on the show were comedic and were purely based on information that was provided in the media in the first place, which he did already. But okay, and in return, Brett Favre would um, uh,
Drop the case.
yeah. So in return, Brett Favre would drop the case, which he did as well. So it seems as though this particular case is closed, but we will keep covering the other cases, which are basically the Brett Favre versus Shad White case, the Brett Favre versus Shannon Sharpe case, and the Mississippi welfare case, in which Brett Favre is a defendant along with 46 other people who are being accused of misappropriation of funds.
And have been pleading guilty as well. So there's
Yeah. Well, some of them,
a mix of people pleading guilty, but also there's still a couple of them waiting in line.
yeah.
I don't know for what, by the way, guys. They are just waiting in line for something. I don't know.
They're at the DMV. Okay, guys. So please let us know. Share with us your thoughts and opinions. Let us know what you think of this case. Was it a interesting case? Did you look at our other shows? Let us know if there are other cases you want us to follow as well, or you want us to cover as well. Because of course now we have spot to take on other cases to cover. I think this is I mean, our channel, we try to discuss both legal topics as well as business topics. Again, guys, not giving legal advice nor business advice, but just covering the topics. But I really enjoy
More objective point of view, of course.
as objective as possible, because sometimes you can just say,
I've seen him do it.
I laugh every time. Yeah.
I didn't have it on the right path, so I had to search it. But I knew where you were going there. But I had it. Well, it's a lot of paths in between where I was where I had to be.
Yeah. And just to be clear, he's talking about the pads on the Roadcaster, not the McAfees. But yeah, so yeah, guys. So that was the show. Hope you guys enjoyed it, or at least that was a recap. If I haven't missed anything, I can proceed with closing the show. KR?
No, I think at the end we have had a real good time covering this good story. I mean, we have learned, of course, a lot about the Mississippi case through this defamation case, and of course, like you said, we will keep an eye out on that case in case Brad's name gets removed of it, and then we will keep you guys up to date. Maybe not in the live format, but we can always move it up to the break room, because of course in the break room we also give you guys shorter updates.
Yeah.
So also check out the break room, guys. We have a couple of interesting break rooms this week.
Yeah. Oh, okay, guys. Thank you to each and every single one of you that are supporting our channel. Thanks for your support. It's been a pleasure serving you today as well. Remember, guys, to share with us your thoughts, whatever they are. Put them in the comment section below. Let us know in the comments as well if you agree with what we said or disagree with what we said. Do you think Pat or Brett Favre will settle the case with Shannon Sharpe and Shad White as well? Let us know in the comment section below. Remember to rate the show by pressing the like button and follow us on our socials at Double Touch Show on Facebook and Instagram. We're also on TikTok as well recently, guys. So go give
No
us.
dances, by the way, guys. If you're for the dances, wrong place.
If you're for the dances, you're for the streets. Remember the most important
Those
thing.
are RJ words, guys.
Remember as well, the most important thing you can do for us is to subscribe to our channel. It really would mean a lot to us if you do so. We put a lot of time and effort into our shows. We see that a lot of you guys are watching and rewatching, but for some reason you're not subscribing to the channel. Please do so if you haven't done so already, because it really helps us. Firstly, it helps us to get monetized, which will in turn help us to add more to the production of the shows. We have big plans. This isn't even scraping. It's not even scraping the bottom of what we can, or what we have planned for this show, for this channel, for this platform, and how we will also include other creators and you as well.
You as well, yes. We want you to be a double thinker.
Okay, Uncle. As AKR always says at the end of the show.
But I can only show you the door.
And behind that door might be your lucky day, a new lawyer, and a settlement.
Yes. Remember, guys, to have a healthy conversation in the comment section below. It's been a pleasure to serve you once more, and we will see each other in the next one. Until next time, peace.